Bicycles?
Yeah.
Well, that's
super
the thing.
active.
That's the other thing I do, right? Okay, so I want to know, but
Yeah,
I
he'll
don't
give
want to
you
know
this
about
guy's
bicycles.
name, and
Yes,
you'll
please.
know about you'll learn about him because he's a
Could you
local
do that
musician.
for me? Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, it was great
Okay.
talking to you. Okay, so what was the topic that you were thinking about?
God.
God. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, what would you like to explore about the God topic?
Well, if there is a God,
Okay.
which I'm agnostic, so
Okay.
I don't know
Okay.
if there is or not.
Yeah.
However, my uh, my belief is
Okay. Cool.
that, and I've got to kind of put it in
Yeah. No, we can explore
simple
this and
terms,
do that.
right? Is that if there is a God,
Yeah. Mhm.
uh, all he or she or it
Mhm.
cares about, if anything,
Uh-huh.
about us, is that we take care of the earth
Uh-huh.
and take care of our bodies
Okay.
and our social interactions.
So like well-being, like the well-being of the planet and
Yeah.
ourselves.
Well, it all stems from. Are we being recorded? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It all stems from. I used to be Mormon.
Okay.
I grew up Mormon
Mhm.
and was Mormon and really drank the Kool-Aid
Mhm. Yeah.
until in my 20s.
Mhm.
But I went on a mission.
Yeah.
I did the knocking on the door thing, the whole works.
Yeah.
Raised my children
Mhm.
in that, but I started to question it, and it took decades
Yeah.
to get out until I was about 45. Then I
Yeah.
finally decided to leave.
Yeah.
But my father, we'd go on long walks, and he wanted me to be a believer,
Yeah.
and he'd say, well, look at the sky, look at, all the earth and all the all the wonderful things that there are.
Yeah.
And it had to lead to be a God.
Right.
And so that caused me to ponder,
Mhm.
right, that, and distill that down to what I told you,
Okay.
a core belief. And I kind of liken it to life and people's belief in God, to waking up in the morning, going to the front door, opening the door, and there's a package there, a gift from somebody, but we don't know who.
Mhm.
Right? We don't know who gave the gift. There's no tag on it. There's no nothing.
Uh-huh.
And so you see that, and it feels like 99% of everybody says, oh, I know exactly who that's from.
Mhm.
And in fact, I know what I need to do in return for that. I need to, fill in the blank, okay?
Right.
And, but for me,
Mhm.
I distill it down to, if it is in fact a gift,
Uh-huh.
you've got, the best I can do is think in human terms, right? And that is, if you give somebody a gift and you don't put a from
Pretender cinder.
yes,
Yeah.
if you don't put that on it, you don't expect them to know the name.
Right.
You don't expect them to do anything except appreciate it.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So if we receive gifts,
Yeah.
those gifts are to be
Yeah.
tended for, appreciated, right? I mean, it just...
So like life is a gift to appreciate?
Life is a gift to appreciate. The earth is a gift to appreciate. All those things that if we feel that, they are what my father talks about as being gifts, then really the best we can do is to appreciate them and take care of them.
Right. Yeah.
And it just all really just boils down to that.
Okay. I like that. So let's say we're to put this on a scale of 1 to 100. 1, I don't believe this at all, and 100, I completely believe this. There's no doubt in my mind. For that claim that you've got
Hmm.
there, where would you fall on that scale? Like, how sure of you are that? How convinced are you? Yeah,
um, 70.
70. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So passing. You're that
Just passing,
passes.
right?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Enough to rely on it,
Yeah.
but certainly not only to rely on it on a personal
Yeah.
scale,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't say that that is the truth for somebody else.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. And is there anything that you could learn that would make you like, or experience maybe that would make you more confident that that was the case?
No.
Nothing. Nothing. Okay, well, what about less confident? Is there anything that
Well, sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so you're like 70 is like the top. I've had some experiences in life. This is as much as I can give it, but I would be
Well,
willing to go lower.
I don't know that it's
Uh,
derived from experiences. I
okay.
think it just is derived from mm, the best logic
Yeah.
I can come up with,
Okay.
given
Yeah.
me that I'm human,
I will
right?
take logic every time. That's
Yeah.
good.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. So less would be certainly. Mm, I mean, it would take some kind of uh, intervention
Yeah.
from God, basically, or spiritual experience that beyond that.
So, like God telling you that his wish wasn't for you to take care of the world, so you'd believe in
Yeah,
God but not
or
believe
that
that.
I had to know more like a name. I mean, people are
Okay.
so focused on a
Okay.
name,
Oh, like a specific.
who God is, right,
Okay.
right, and what God expects,
Right.
right,
Okay.
because I
Hmm.
see it's how you um, it comes down to me how you live and
Right.
if I would need to change my behavior.
Uh-huh.
It, in order to change my behavior, I would have to
Yeah.
have something, you know, something indicate that a name or
Yeah.
behavior beyond my what I've already said
Yeah.
is important. Hmm.
And how would like that like what type of experience, how would you know that it was reliable?
Well, okay. So when I left the Mormon Church,
Hmm.
I my prayer was to say, God, if you care
Hmm.
about me,
Uh-huh.
then you, I've been trying for decades,
Hmm.
okay,
Hmm.
to do it this way,
Hmm.
okay, and it's not really working for me,
Yeah.
okay. So it has to be in a way
Hmm.
that speaks to me.
Hmm.
And if God is omnipotent,
Uh-huh.
then uh, I figure
Right.
there will be a way.
Right.
Okay.
Hmm.
So I
Yeah, that makes
gotta
sense. Yeah.
like divorce myself from
Uh-huh.
the thought of me coming to God
Yeah.
necessarily, but
Yeah.
God has to come to me.
Right.
That sounds very
Yeah.
uh, mm, selfish and very like, oh, God has to do this, right? But
Right.
it's the only solution I can think of.
Right. Yeah, because there's those omnis, and if they don't meet up to the omnis, like there could be maybe a God who wasn't omniscient and wouldn't be willing to speak to you, but then you couldn't become more confident because of that. Like
Yeah, it's
there's no would
because
be
of
no
me.
way.
Yeah, I just don't have, I'm
Right.
working with very few tools.
Right. With what you've got.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Right. I love that. Is there anything that I should have asked you that I didn't? Or
Hmm.
to explore this a little more?
I guess I can share kind of a little baby step that I took towards this
Okay.
was, I think in allegories,
Uh-huh.
right?
Yeah.
You know, analogies
Yeah.
get rough between the two.
Yeah.
But I'm much into gardening,
Uh-huh.
and I wondered, given kind of the state of the world,
Yeah.
right, how we could, how good could God could be the thing that many
Right.
pros, pros, uh, profess Him to be. Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's generic term. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, and the best I could come up with is, uh, as an analogy, is kind of the way that I garden. It sometimes is just
Yeah.
I find a plant and I'll put it in.
Uh-huh.
I'll appreciate it.
Yeah.
I enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
But I tell you, it doesn't kill me
Yeah.
if it dies or another plant overtakes it. If
Yeah.
another plant is more aggressive.
What if God just did not have a green thumb? What if that was the case? Could we just have a God with not a green thumb?
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
So I
maybe
guess not
it's.
all powerful then, right? So,
Well, that's
yeah.
that's part of the issue, right?
Right.
I mean, there are many religions that gods have weaknesses,
Right.
right?
Right. Or they've stepped back. They've kind of cast the dice and let them go.
Yeah,
Things fall where they may, kind of
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And they have not only they're not omnipotent, they have
Yeah.
serious weaknesses.
Right.
Yeah.
Much more human, right?
Yeah.
Almost human inspired, perhaps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
That's awesome.
I guess that's
Yeah.
in the end, that's why I had troubles coming
Yeah.
up with something, because the older I get, the less I know.
Right. Yeah. That's awesome. Is there anything, I don't know if you're listening in, that you think I should ask?
Have you replaced your, call it, Mormon faith with anything else, do you think?
With anything else?
Yeah.
I wouldn't call it a faith, but I've replaced the community
Yeah.
and a way. That is an excellent question, because I have, in the last 2 years, I've become involved with Unitarian Universalism.
Familiar, yeah.
Okay, which is for the audience.
Yeah.
Extremely broad religion, not so it's more about the honest search for individual truth
Yeah.
and helping each other
Mm-hmm.
be in that path, whatever that path is.
Yep.
And so it's community that way,
Mm-hmm.
because I dearly, Mormonism is can be all encompassing, and it can also be very assuring in some ways, in the sense that you have a purpose
Yeah.
that is completely known,
Mhm.
where if you go rogue,
Yeah. Yeah.
you go, oh my, I don't know what I'm to do, or
Right.
the community is missed,
Yeah.
right? And also to be challenged ethically, right?
Yeah.
I found for many years, I mean, it was many years
Yeah.
between leaving Mormonism and finding Unitarian Universalism,
Yeah.
is that I wasn't challenged ethically, and I could get lazy,
Yeah.
right? And
Uh-huh.
just like, whatever.
Right.
Okay. No, I mean,
Yeah.
I had my own ethics, but I was never challenged
Right.
on my ethics.
Yeah.
Um,
So you feel like you question things a little bit more now, and you have the ability to explore those things.
I have those ability to, I mean, fantastic.
Right.
I mean, I live in the Portland, Oregon area. Okay.
Yeah.
And um, I've only lived there for a year, but I grew up there,
Yeah.
and I'm like, if I'm going to live in an experimental place, it's going to be
That's
Portland,
fair.
Oregon.
That's to
Okay?
do it.
Okay?
Yeah.
Because experimental is the name of the game, right?
Right.
And so I've been experimenting,
Yeah.
you know,
That's awesome.
and it's absolutely wonderful
Yeah.
because I'm not at all where I thought I could be, because not to diminish um, a lot of very closely held beliefs
Yeah.
within Mormonism, but
Uh-huh.
you hear a lot of times that, um, like, I'm glad I'm in this church because if I were to ever drink,
Yeah.
which is something
Yep.
they don't do,
Yep.
um, I would probably be an alcoholic,
Yeah.
right? Well, I've been able to test that, right?
Yeah.
And I'm very close to a
Yeah.
teetotaler.
Yeah.
But I will drink. I can drink. I have no qualms with it,
Yeah.
but it just doesn't do anything for me,
Yeah.
right? So I, it's pretty darn far from that.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's awesome.
but it's my choice. It's not somebody else's.
Right. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
What's the best question to ask current Mormons
uh-huh.
or members of the LDS Church
Yeah.
that you love
Yeah.
that would cause them to reflect on the reasons why they're in
Hmm.
that community?
Believing what they do.
Yeah. It's in the weeds. I think probably I pass on that question because, I mean, I have 4 children.
Mm-hmm.
3 have left.
Yeah.
1 has stayed in.
Mm-hmm.
She, at this point, has all my grandchildren.
Uh-huh.
My father has passed. My mother is still here,
Yeah.
and she's a believer. And I just don't have. It just didn't work for me, and I've got to respect where they're at. And I always have, and always did. As I started to not believe, I never had any pretenses about that,
Right.
out of respect
Right.
for them, as I would for any religion.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad you found a
Yeah.
community that works for you.
Yeah.
You know, there's a Unitarian Universalist church in Denton, right?
What?
There's a Unitarian Universalist church in Denton.
There is. Yeah.
Yeah, there is one over there. I haven't been, but I know there is one over here because when I first came to the area, I located it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And yeah, I mean, talk about broad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
extremely broad.
Well, I was gonna say, like, I've been to some of them, and I've seen some of the like a lot of times they'll do like presentations. I know you said you do the ADA stuff,
Mhm.
so they do presentations on kind of like community outreach stuff or like educational stuff, and it's kind of interesting. It's definitely more community oriented, which is
Yeah.
nice, I think.
I mean, it's really nice that anything can be a subject of spiritual growth,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
It can be poetry or humanism, or it's endless.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I've had pretty good experiences with those churches. So,
Mhm.
yeah, there's I'm from San Antonio area. There's some churches around that area that are like that. They're pretty cool. But I had a good
Is that
conver-
where you're?
Yeah, I'm from San Antonio.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I'm from
I
San
spent a summer there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
hot?
but that was back in, oh wow, it was 1988 or 89.
Yeah. It's hot. It's hot down there, and I like it here a little because it's a little cooler, but I love the cooler weather, so I'm kind of like a little farther north. It's too much for me here.
Yeah. And we'll see if I come here or not.
Yeah, I hope that works out for you. We've lived in
I
Denton
don't
for like
know.
10
I mean,
years.
I I'm sitting in a good place. I
Yeah.
can decide. I mean, it's my decision.
Yeah,
Um,
it's good.
so it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it
Yeah.
is complicated.
Yeah.
He's a cyclist.
He's a cyclist. He's a
So how do you feel?
all-around gifted
Okay,
musician.
so the claim was
And he does
God,
And
was
I know
if
he
there
does other
is a
stuff,
God,
but
he wants us to take care of like the earth and ourselves.
If there is a God.
Yeah,
Okay.
because he's agnostic.
Okay.
So, and he's not convinced of like anything outside of that.
yeah,
He's 70% sure. There was nothing that convinced him that.
Right. He could only go down, if
Could
I
only go
remember
down.
right.
Yes, because the 30% is like there's no proof that God is like omniscient or any of that stuff, and so since there's no way to confirm that this is the case, he could only go down.
Take care.
So yeah, because
So his agnosticism is
like a specific type of God. He doesn't know there's nothing that can convince him that there is a specific type of God or
Okay.
like a certain one that wants all these other mandates. Just that he related it to being a gardener, and that when things go to shit in his garden, like if he had the ability to make things grow better, he would do it. And because he cares about the plants and stuff like that. So kind of like relating the gardener aspect to like God. And so he just doesn't see that in the world. So he wouldn't become more confident, but he would, there are things that he could see that would make him less convinced. I'm trying to remember what those things were now.
Yeah. It seemed like kind of on the edge intense.
Huh?
Like it seemed, I don't know, he seemed
Emotional.
kind of very like it on the verge of it being kind of intense for him talking
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah, I think probably because of family and potentially like working for the coming to Denton. He's just moved to Denton to digitally scout out a job. So
Right.
yeah, it's a vulnerable situation to be in, and
Yeah.
maybe you don't want everybody to. You don't maybe want to put down some people's beliefs if you're going to be like working for the public. You kind of got to appease a lot of people.
Right. Yeah.
So I can see why he might not want to dig too deep. And
Yeah.
I forgot what he said. He said that there's nothing that he wouldn't know what. I don't know if he said he wouldn't know what to say to those people, but he said he wouldn't
He'd pass.
on what to tell those people because he has family there. I think maybe there's like that empathy because he said he was a humanist, and so like maybe valuing people's feelings is their feelings around that subject were maybe more important to him.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Cool.
So,
Well, do you need a break?
if you want to do the next one, you could do the next one.
You want to do one, Pete?
I would have to report it and get it approved by the federal government.